I love being able to call a golf course my office.
PGA member Erik Wilson turned his dream career into a reality. At the picturesque Grand Golf Club at the Fairmont Grand Del Mar, located just north of San Diego, Erik sets the bar high for his staff and vendors by making his golf shop the very best it can be.
When I go to the Grand, it's usually one of the best days of the week for me, not only because this is a truly great resort, but it's truly the classiest people out there. And Erik does his job with such passion and insight. It's just a pleasure to work with a guy that is able to do what he does the way he does it.
I think the special thing about Erik is that he's engaged and involved in just about everything at the Grand, whether it's setting up tournaments, whether it's budgeting, whether it's the merchandise of the floor of the golf shop, and he's knowledgeable about everything at the Grand.
Dave, just want to make sure we're ready for that shotgun tomorrow.
As PGA head professional, Erik wears a variety of hats, from teaching and coaching.
What I want to keep the club face nice and square.
To managing their club fitting.
How'd that feel?
Good swing there.
And caddy program.
Quick, let's talk about this 11:30.
But his first love since leaving his home state of Oregon has always been merchandising.
We'll sit in an appointment together, and we let the vendor show us everything, and then we just pull it together, and we both look at each other and we go, yep, that's it. And it's just a delight to work with Erik. I mean, it really is. We have this synergy that's, it's good.
Right here, as guests walk in, it's the first thing that they see when they enter the golf shop.
Yeah, I like it. That's good.
We're in Southern California, so we've got a little bit of a Southern California feel in our golf shop, but we've also got some of the classics like Peter Millar and FootJoy. So he's done a great job of blending what the customer is looking for, and he's very good business-wise. As we've seen probably about a 20% increase in sales this year, and so it couldn't have come this award for him at a better time because we're really trending in an upward direction right now.
So let's review. A good eye, a good business sense, a willingness to go that extra yard, and a whole lot of retail intuition provide Erik with all the special tools for merchandising success.
I think a good merchandiser is summed up by having a good team work ethic. I think the ability to work well with all your vendors and local reps, and most importantly, being able to identify what your guests and your members and customers want out of a shop.
Oh, by the way, I need to pick up something for my son. Could you give me a hand?
Absolutely.
Erik is very unique in that sense, in that when I do walk in the shop, things are fresh, and I come in monthly to visit, and there's always new nesting tables, there's new clothing, there's new golf balls, new bags, merchandise properly in the golf shop. It just attracts the eye when you walk into the golf shop.
Erik has a great eye for things to come. He can foresee things down the line a little farther than most people do, and I think that's what really sets him apart. He kind of sees the trends moving in a certain direction, and he jumps on it, tests the waters. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't, but you got to take that risk.
It's been a remarkable journey in a short time for Erik Wilson. It's a total team effort, from his facility to his family and staff to his incredible vendors and suppliers.
Number one, guest and member satisfaction. How was your round of golf today? Fantastic. I birdied number 4 for the first time. I shot my lowest score. This is the first time I played this golf course, and it's just beautiful. Our fork caddy was fantastic. It's those little comments and feedback that give you pride about your operation, gives you pride about the place that employs you, and then it proves that your leadership is trickling down to ultimately guest experience. I think at the end of the day, that's what makes it all worthwhile to me.
So of course the guy from SoCal is going to have Marley as his walk-up music there. Everything is cooler in Southern California. You talked about at the golf club, at the Grand Golf Club, how wonderful the setting is to be your office. Well, you have a team that helps you create that office environment. Tell us a bit about your team that helps you.
I'm surrounded with a few of them right here at our table this evening. And really at the end of the day, like Mark mentioned, we're nothing without the team that we surround ourselves with. And that trickles down to your operations team, my finance team, our executive team at our club, our director of golf, Sean Cox, who has complete trust and faith in what we do from a retail standpoint. So you really just try and move those pieces into the right line to where it functions efficiently, on a daily basis. And at our facility, we're very prideful of the guest experience, like a lot of us are. But our guests, expect a certain level of service, and we try and match that, day in and day out. And our golf shop retail experience is part of that journey.
Well, and speaking of journeys, you journeyed down the West Coast from the high desert of Oregon down to the bottom part of that state, but the coast at least. Tell us a bit about that journey and the fit that you have now as far as the Grand Golf Club is concerned.
Well, as you mentioned, I grew up in Sun River, Oregon, which for somebody to grow up in a resort kind of bubble was pretty unique. So I started working in the resort facility aspect when I was 14, bussing tables at a restaurant there on property. So kind of figured out real quick that you just kind of had a niche for this kind of revolving door of guests and how to establish common ground with them within, a few seconds, whether that's a logo on your shirt or a head cover on your golf bag, whatever it is to, really make the focus in the experience about the guests. But when I got to San Diego, that facility was a daily fee facility. So we transitioned it to a resort, private club, and to see that grow from 0 members to almost 200 now, and a Forbes Travel Guide 15-star property has been quite the experience. And that's the only facility that I've worked at in San Diego. So I'm very fortunate to call that place home, and yeah, that's the office.
Well, it's a year-round facility as well. So you've got the added task of basically having your doors open almost every single day. Tell us about the responsibility of needing to be at the top of your game 365 days a year, more or less.
Come October 1st, you really look forward to daylight savings time. But I think from the merchandising standpoint, we buy for every season. So we're continuously scheduling drops, every 45 or 60 days. And that's great because you really have no limit on what you can bring in and out of your shop. You're continuously just looking at the next cycle. You're looking 6 to 9 months ahead. And that's good for us. It never gets boring or dull. There are some rainy days, believe it or not. And 72 and sunny doesn't get boring.
So 15-star resort, you're going to be popular with folks from all around the world. Now you've got that, the laid back California kind of vibe to it. How does that play with visitors you might have from other countries?
Sure. I think that they expect that when you come to Southern California. There is just that feel of everything is very relaxed and just kind of free flowing. And we try and incorporate that vibe and that feel into our golf shop and throughout our teams. And, through the training with Forbes, they're very strict on your communication and your verbiage. And I mean, it's so hard to keep dude out of the sentence with a player service and a golf staff team. But it's just the way, it's just the way it is, it's as long as you're still professional about it, I think dude can fit in there somewhere. But we do have a lot of the manufacturers and top apparel brands are kind of right there in LA and Southern California. So it's a blessing to have them close to home to where we can incorporate them and really see what's coming out, on the forefront and try and deliver that product, to the guest and member consistently.
So, dude, I see that you've got your mom and your sister here.
I do.
And they, while I was doing my research, already sold you down the river for my next question. But before we get to that, is there anybody else you'd like to sort of thank or acknowledge as far as your journey is concerned this evening?
Super wife. Yeah. It's better half. It's a team effort at the end of the day. And we've got we got 2 kids at home too. We got a 4.5-year-old and a 1-year-old son. They're with grandma and grandpa. Hope you guys survive.
The kids or the grandparents?
Definitely grandparents. But Wendy, Easter Day, our buyer, is here. She consults with us through our property and then through Fairmont, to North America, and she's fantastic to work with. And I've learned a tremendous amount of just knowledge from a fashion sense and how to kind of incorporate, different flows and different colors and stuff into the merchandise. Ryan Lure, assistant professional of mine, who's my right hand when it comes to the day-to-day of the retail operation. Fantastic. Obviously my sister, my mom, my brother are here too. So that's, it's really special. They traveled all the way from the Northwest to be here. So that's awesome. And then everybody back at home, it's couldn't do it without you. Thank you to the committee and the association. This is quite a highlight for me.
Well, any PGA of America professional highlights are getting people out on the golf course, growing the game. You'd prefer they probably be at the golf course, during normal operating hours. And probably the bane of some PGA of America professionals' existence is having to shoo kids off the golf course. Now, if you ever found at the Grand kids showing up late, maybe they got a stolen 7-iron, something along, you might be more lenient than folks in this room. Why would that be the case? Can you give us a little background on the 7-iron and your habits of early?
As a Ping Eye 2 7-iron.
Well, let's hear about it.
I found. I did not. It was one of those.
Okay.
It was left 150 yards out.
I embellish.
And yeah, that was. I may have borrowed range balls
It happens.
use and return at a later time. But yeah, I was that kid sneaking out early, and I remember we had frost one morning, and I'm out there on the fairways just hitting. But I have no idea about frost. I did after the superintendent came out and let me know about it. So yeah, that was.
It was the exact same early day foundation of a game Marco Mira had in Southern California as well. Led him to the Hall of Fame, led you to the stage right here. You're both important parts of this game. Thank you so much for what you did.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Erik Wilson.